Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to Tenerife. We've got a Copa del Rey final today, so let's just really get straight into that, shall we? See you in a moment. I will apologise if you can hear tree cutting or something in the background. Yep, naturally that's the time they decide to start doing that, and I haven't got any other time I can record this, so apologies if there's any background noise. Hopefully it shouldn't be picked up. No games played since we last met, of course, which was the 2-0 victory over Liverpool, following the 2-2 draw with Liverpool, which means we do progress in the Champions League. Spoilers if you haven't watched last episode, but we do progress a little bit more comfortable than the last time round with the Man United last-minute goal situation. But we do enter this Spanish Cup final, of course, off the back of that Liverpool match where I didn't make any substitutions because we scored twice early on and then there were no more highlights. Which in this situation, I'll take, stress-free, but I don't really know what the conditioning on my players will be like. Now, just a heads up at the start of this episode, in case you didn't catch it towards the end of the last one, this will be the final season with Tenerife. FM22 isn't too far away, and I don't know if I'd really get another season in at this point regardless. We will have the Champions League semi-final next week, along with either the Champions League final or just the last game of the season if we manage to mess it up against Juventus. Either way, 2 more episodes of Tenerife, nice round 60. That's the other reason for stopping there. It's nice round numbers. 40 for Sheffield United, 60 for Tenerife, 100 in total. It's too neat. It's too neat to ignore. I've also recently completed, for now, the county football experiment. Part 5 was up on Wednesday. If you've not seen that, do watch it. There's some really fun things in there. I'm working on the next one already. Picard is injured. That's unfortunate. Which means Dimas Lopez will start. Otherwise, everyone is sort of okay. In my mind, I thought Pfizer was good for big games. We'll just make 2 other changes to keep the team relatively fresh without diminishing the quality. Pfizer's average rating for the last 5 games is obviously problematic, but Christensen will remain in goal, Tenorio left back, Harwood, Lopez will step in for the injured Picard. Lopez is a player that I kind of wanted to play for the remainder of the season anyway, because he's this good and still has 5-star potential, perhaps. At least 1 more star's worth of potential, and at 6'5" and 20 years old, needs to play a little bit more to get that final step. You can see his ability change actually for the last year. It's actually only half a star's worth, but that makes it look more dramatic than it possibly is. 18 tackling on the board already, 11 heading, but 19 jump reach off the 6'5". He is a monster in the central line defence. The mentals are really just what needs to be proved. He's in a mentoring group, obviously, but curious one, Lopez, though, because he came from the under-19s, those named under-19 teams. He's the only good one to have ever come out of them so far. The majority of them get to like B team quality, the ones you can pick up from there. He was in the Spanish under-19s at the time of me acquiring him, and that was basically straight after he was generated into the game, so we knew he had something to him at that point. Just another reminder towards the end of this save that these name teams like Conso, Bansander, Perenez do get some good new gens through, and they're all available to sign for free, of course, so they're always worth checking out, particularly if you're not in the top division already, because you can make some profit off them. But Bermudez at right back next to Lopez, Valverde, Ravella, Faisal, Grealish, Merckx and Maxi Gomez, the rest of that team you know well by now. Bruno Alves remains on the bench as Mayorga is injured. They've still got Chukwueze, by the way, at Villareal. Our opponents, not really talked about them too much. They're sort of there or thereabouts in the La Liga division. They've not really changed their status in the past 7 seasons. But they do have Marcelo Gallardo in charge, who is a very competent man. Still got Paco Alcacer, actually, I now notice, and Rulli. I'm pretty certain those are 2 players that are already there, along with Estupinian. Not sure about the rest of that defence, but those are a few names that I definitely recognise as being there already. Of course, current Europa League holders, but their manager now, Marcelo Gallardo, is a very good manager in Football Manager. Obviously a pretty good manager in real life too, but he's in charge of Tyne and Weir in my county save for the past 10 years, and they've done very well. That experiment, yeah. He did well with what was formerly Newcastle for the past decade. As Villareal play this around a little bit. Get past Faisal a little bit too easily there, in my opinion, but Lobotka is closed down by one of the Volantes, who sort of started to go towards their defender there. Now Beliris is through. Christensen down low. Good save. This will be one of those rare one-game episodes, so sort of talking about the team a little bit more in general this episode. We'll sort of treat this as the pre-end of season review, if that makes sense. Grealish, because obviously come the final game, we'll talk about the save as a whole rather than this particular season. But Harwood playing this short to Tenorio now. Harwood. We'll still get obviously all of the end of season stuff in that final episode, but Grealish thinks it forward to Maxi Gomez. Back to Valverde, hoofed towards Tenorio on the left-hand side, and back to Valverde once more. The hoof being largely redundant in the end. Faisal, close. Nicely worked, though, between our players. Could have got something on that, but did not. But as we enter this sort of final stretch of FM21, obviously the main save is going to come to a close next Friday, in theory, provided there's no hiccups or anything like that. But Twitch, things have been a little bit more confusing. I started doing something on a retro database, but I'll be honest, it's not really held my interest that much, and it's kind of frustrating in that regard because I just want something to occupy my time on Twitch, on the Football Manager front, until FM22 comes out. And I think I've worked out what I want to do now. So starting next week, not sure which day, because I've had a look at my university schedule for this term. It seems to be not consistent, which is not helpful for a streaming front, because it might be a different day every single week I'm streaming on. Thursdays, Mercs have scored. That didn't look like it was going to amount to anything there. Their defenders definitely should have dealt with that. But Mercs rises highest at that back post and heads it back across goal. It's a well-targeted header, in fact, in the end. But Tenorio somehow actually gets the cross in. He really shouldn't have got the cross in. And most importantly, Mercs definitely shouldn't have got that header. Number 23, I don't know who that was in front of him and definitely should have got there ahead of him. That was Jibril Sow, actually, the midfielder. Yes, I know what I want to do. It's definitely going to be every Thursday. It looks like Thursdays are fine for streaming every single week. But the other day, I don't want to do obviously 2 weekday streams a week. The other day might fluctuate week to week. It's looking like it might be Monday next week. So same day as the episode, of course. As Nino equalises. That was far too easy. Looking like it's going to be Monday next week. What I'm going to do is one more season of Sheffield United. Yes, we'll bring that back for one final season. I figured if I can't find a new quick save to enjoy, why not go for one that I know I already have enjoyed? So we'll return to Sheffield for one final season. See if we can reclaim the Premier League first and foremost, because we didn't actually win it in the last season. Won it in season 3, not season 4. So we'll try and reclaim that off Liverpool, I think it was, who won it. And this is so close to being right for once. Match stats, please. Thank you. I don't understand why that breaks every single time you load the save up. But 1-1, we could do with a little bit more here. Bermudez on a 6.5. Bermudez is the confusing one for me. Being non-EU puts that little bit less sentimentality on the player. Weirdly worded, that sentence, but you know what I mean. Because he's taking one of 3 very valuable spots, it means they have to be that little bit better. Mercs puts us back in the lead again. Thank you for turning up in this big game, Hugo. He had a very, very quiet start to the season and has reclaimed some form, really, because last season as well, as a whole, he was down on overall output. I want to say it was 7 goals, and then I think it was 18 the season before. Grealish's poor performance today, I can't attribute to anything, but Maxi Gomez has just taken a knock, seemingly. 18 and 9 goals, in fact, but it was actually 14 goals in all competitions, and that's where Mercs is now with the 2 goals today. Interesting, actually. Only 24 appearances, though. 29 starts, a few injuries last season. 29 starts in total so far, 30 with today's, and the 2 goals bringing him up to 14 in total. But he does have a lot more assists. He's got 16 assists this season now, and it's 2 assists for Paco Tenorio today. Ravello on 23 assists. He's the assist leader for this season. Now, Maicon Douglas can come on. Maxi Gomez, we know, has just taken that knock, so Bruno Alves will come on. And screw it, we'll make all 3 changes. No one's actually super tied, which is surprising to me. But Bermudez on a booking will just ensure that, maybe. And bring on Nedelaire for numero 3. As they bring on Hadji and put him up front for a 4-2-2-2 formation, or 4-2-4, depending on your opinion on that. But Nedelaire to Faisal, who's had a 6.9. It's not awful. Michael Douglas seals this match, you would hope, at 3-1. Inspired substitution, apparently. I think that might have been Faisal with the assist, so that should bump his rating up to above a 7. And that should rise that 6.6 average up a little bit more going forward. The Faisal's a curious one. He goes through huge patches of not really doing anything. Don't know if it's the role or if it's him in particular, because he is listed as consistent, as you saw on his page earlier. Ravello up to a 7, 3 key passes today. 3 key passes for 4 people there in the middle. We're in the pink and black kit, which is actually the 3rd kit, I think. Don't really know why. in the game, it's listed as the away kit, which I kind of like because it is obviously that much different from the home kit. But in reality, it's actually the third kit, and I don't understand why, because the actual away kit isn't that much different from the home kit. But our goalkeeper, Christian Christensen, managed to do a cartwheel, one would expect. If things are nice and consistent, there we go. Our number 13, by his choice. Otherwise, he would be our number 1. Our number 1 at heart, but our number 13 on the pitch. And excuse me while I change these again. At least this bit's consistent. This always switches back to double team analysis. I don't know why. But there we are. We can see the summary. 2 bookings for them. Rubinson made on very late on, picking up a booking. But actually, it was a very even game. 12 shots for us, 11 for them, 7 on target for us, 5 for them, although apparently they had the slightly better chances with a 1.44 XG and a 1.34. Features video for FM22 dropped yesterday. Got a little bit of a peek into FM22's new features. I don't think they're the main features. I think they're just a bunch of smaller ones packaged together to get us excited, whet the appetite. But one of those was a data hub, which, as a man who likes spreadsheets, I don't like building spreadsheets. I'll be honest, I don't actually like the process of building them, but I like the process of using them, if that makes sense. The actual time spent building a spreadsheet, I don't particularly enjoy. The moment it's completed and I see that what I've done works, that's the fun part, especially when there's something new involved in that spreadsheet, a new feature or function. I'm pleased. Yes, I don't know what really I was answering there, but numero 3 for us, Gyro Sport listing us as winning it again. That's actually our 4th. It's actually our 4th. It's 3 in a row, but it's our 4th. 1 to 3 days for Max Gomez. That's not a huge deal. Via Carno's in the next game. Probably could rest him there. Only 500 grand for winning that. But, oh, 3 times 1. 3 times 1 because that was the season. Sorry, I thought that was the previous seasons. So 20, I knew we'd won one, then Sevilla obviously beat us, and then we won the last one. This was this one at the top. So Harwood has a fitness concern, so Dimas Lopez is largely going to feature for the remainder of the season, other than in the Champions League, of course. So he's got opportunities, has young Lopez at the moment. I say young Lopez as if the other 2 aren't also quite young. But with an 8-point lead and the types of teams we have to play, there is a match against Betis in there, but the remainder of those sides are good opportunities for Lopez to have a game or 2. Espanyol 11th away from home, like I say, Betis at home, Zaragoza at 12th. Elche are having a poor season. They've done well in general, but poor season this season. You won't see it behind my face, but they were 5th 2 seasons ago, of course, famously. Didn't have a good season last season because of the European commitments, and for some reason are continuing it without those commitments now. And Pamplona on the final day are 15th as well. So the 5 sides in the league, in theory, that should be weak enough for Lopez to be in our defensive line without that being too much of a downgrade in our respects. Then Betis might play the full strength defence, although it is in between the 2 Juventus games, which will be, of course, our 4 first teams that are available to us at the time. Knowing our luck, injuries will happen. But, as I said, we'll have a little look at the overall. Obviously, there's 6 more league games and at least 2 more Champions League games. Christian Christensen remains obviously the most appearances for this season. Average ratings, man. Average ratings are people that I fully expected to be at the top of this list. Ravella, bit of a standout. He was good for me at Napoli. I only had him for 1 season, 2 seasons. I can't remember how many seasons I actually completed on that aborted attempt of a glory hunter, but I had him at Napoli. I acquired him there because he's easy to acquire at the beginning. And obviously at the beginning, his attributes aren't anywhere near that of the first team, but he always overperformed in comparison to his attributes for Napoli. So I love his ability graph. I don't know what's going on there, but incredibly consistent and having an absolute breakout season. Only the 1 goal, but 23 assists in total and 4 player of the matches for him this season. In terms of fairly regular footballers, Orsolini, you would argue, would be second. Mitaj actually does have 8 starts. Mitai, probably, has 8 starts. But Orsolini, 19 starts, 18 sub-appearances, and just shy of 2,000 minutes on the pitch in total. 7.35. A player that I was expecting to be up there. Get in Mr. Reliable. Yes, every now and then he puts in a performance like, there's a 6.7 here, 6.8 there, but an 8 against Malaga, a 7.5 against Atletico. Like, I rotated him into that match for Atletico, and he put a 7.5. That's Atletico, so it's not even like he's only playing against the weaker sides. He started the match against Almeria, 7.1 there. Started the match against Eibar, 7.8 there. Of course, he does tend to start against the weaker sides, but it's not like he only starts against the weaker sides. So, 10 goals, 14 assists. You can only play whoever's in front of you. Lopez in his 9 starts has actually done really well, but again, he typically plays against the properly weaker sides so far. We'll see what happens with his rating in those remaining games because he will play probably 5 of them. Yeah, Merck's rating's up. Maxi Gomez, once he got over himself, his rating's up as well. Michael Douglas, actually possibly one of the biggest surprises so far, in my opinion. Actually outperforming Jack Grealish in terms of average rating, but Grealish with 11 goals, 6 assists. Michael Douglas with 7 goals, 3 assists in 750 minutes, compared to Grealish's over 2,500. That is interesting. But Faisal overall, like I say, he does go through some really barren patches of performances. The 13 goals and 7 assists in 27 starts is quite good. That's, 20 goal contributions in 27 from the centre midfield position. Occupies one of the 3 non-EU spots, of course. Him and McDonald are the 2 that are probably safe from being sold in that respect. Even though McDonald is a bit of a rotation option. Over a 7 average rating now, though. 3 goals, 5 assists. I would like him to be as productive as Ravella, and for some reason he isn't. The one person I will say has been a disappointment this season is Dukedin, but that might just be assimilation into the side. He is young, he's 20. He was in the B team last year. This is his first season in the A team. 12 starts, 5 subs, 1,000 minutes on this pitch, but no goals and 3 assists. Slightly disappointing. Bermuda's obviously the main confusion. He's the only one that's significantly under a 7. Valverde's exactly on a 7. 2 goals, 5 assists for him. Again, I'd like more from him and I'd like more from both him and McDonald, realistically. But Bermudez, the weird thing is, he's fairly consistent according to this. Driven, great decision making, great bravery and work rate as well, according to the pros on this. What is his bravery? 18. Work rate 18. His aggression is a little bit low. Positioning is great. Decisions is 19. Like I say, determination 19, work rate 18. With those physicals of 15 acceleration and pace, that's not bad. Stamina is 17, so at least he can run for the entire match. Agility is quite high too. If only his crossing was good. It's 9. It's not awful, but if his crossing was good, man, he'd be... I don't understand why he's not better. Like he says he's consistent, but I don't think it meant consistency in that way. 22 appearances, 6.89. 22 appearances, 6.85. Obviously a few more games to go and he will play them. So 33 in total last year and he's on 30 in total this year. And it's not like it's a right-back situation because Nedeleya's on a 7. Tenorio is above a 7 as well. There's 0.2 of an average rating difference between him and Tenorio and Nedeleya. Tenorio is probably the better marker point because he is the consistent left-back. 28 starts for him, 7.07. 1 goal, now 8 assists. Bermudez, 1 goal, 4 assists. I don't know if there's something that he's doing that isn't being picked up by the engine. Okay, it's getting a little bit loud outside, so I'll wrap this up. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but why do they always choose the time when I'm recording? Why? Well, I hope that sort of gives you a little bit of insight into the players this particular season. Obviously, we do a full roundup and a little bit of an update in the final episode next week. But next time out, of course, Juventus, home and away, or away and home to be precise. Just realised we did that at their stadium because that's how this works, isn't it, in the Spanish Cup? That's a nice 3-1 away victory, really. But yes, away and home at Juventus next time out. And just a brief reminder, I am wearing the Be Excellent to One Another t-shirt once again because there has been a little bit of unpleasantness in the community recently. Don't know the full details, but I can infer the source. I'm not going to share it now, but just be kind to everyone. Thank you for watching. Until next time, ta-ra.